Rev up your engines! I got a vehicle that runs perfectly fine at speeds, anything over 20 miles an hour, but it kind of bogs down and misfires in a couple cylinders. I think that could have carboned up valves or injectors because we've swapped the coils and it's still the misfire on the same cylinders. We swapped fuel injectors, still had the same misfires on the same cylinder. Number 6 is the one that acts up the most. So we're gonna put in Bernie's cleaner on the gas tank, whole bottle. Smells like turpentine, every last drop. A can just to check things out. And as we can see, it's got a little bit less than half, maybe like what, 1/3 of a tank of gas in it. So now it's got a good concentration of the cleaner. Now before we take it on a road test, we can see the long-term fuel trim for bank 1 subtracting 8.6, so it's running rich. So let's go down a little further. And the long-term fuel trim for bank 2, it's subtracting 5.5. So it's running a little bit on the rich side. Our air sensor at idle and gear is 8.3, 8.5, 8.6 grams per second, which is a little high. But now that it's warmed up, it's coming down 6.6, 6.4, it's even going lower, 6.7, 6.28. Since this is a 6-liter engine, that's pretty close. That's not bad. So I doubt if the mass airflow sensor has anything to do with this. So off to the highway we go. I get to have somebody else drive it while I watch all the data and see what happens. Took a good trip, and here's the data. The short term is 0, 0. It's cleared that up quite well. The long term, it's still showing it's running rich. You can see here, the mass airflow sensor, 5.2, 4.6, 5.5, 4.96. Now it's 7.38, 7.4. It's moving all over the place. It should not be moving all over the place. Now while we're hooking up the big gun scan tool, my hotel, I don't hear any vacuum leaks or anything. Not the mass airflow sensor. It doesn't affect it at all. It's shorter, that doesn't affect it. If it's short now, they're acting up. If you whack them, a lot of times they'll start missing. That doesn't affect anything. A complete topology scan first. The codes for the PCM. We'll see what they are. We got PL300, engine misfire, not any particular one. NOx sensor codes. There's something wrong with the NOx sensor. That's been on this thing forever. And the hilarious thing is, it's got catalytic system low efficiency bank 2. Well, this thing doesn't even have cats on it. The cats were taken off years ago, so you can forget all that data. The only thing I really care about is the engine misfire. I didn't see when it happened. It was just idle. It was going 562 RPM. We'll see if anything looks odd in the data. The fuel trim, short term it was 0. Long term it was subtracting -8, -5, 1 on each bank. So the long-term fuel trim that's making it go wacky. So let's look at some live data here. Okay, we can only do 4 at a time, so we'll do these 4 and we'll watch it. Now there's hardly any misfires except on cylinder number 6. It's picking up some. Now you can see historically cylinder number 2 has 58, 56 misfires, and number 6 has 18,087. Those are the 2 that are, the other ones have a little bit of misfire and some have 0. They're all kind of misfiring a little, but especially 6 and 2. We set the data back and you can see as I rev it up, 6 is misfiring the most. It's counting. 2 just has 2, that's 4. 6 is the one that's misfiring the worst. The others have gone to 0, 2, 3, a little bit, but mainly it's misfiring on number 6. Now 2's picking up a little. Look at 2 and 6 by themselves. See, when we rev it up, they drop. Except for 6. 6 keeps going. 2's misfiring a little, but 6 misfires. They just keep coming. It just drops because it stops counting again. Then it starts counting again. As you can see, 2, which is the blue line, it's got a tiny little bit of misfires, but 6 is misfiring all the time. It counts so many, then it starts over, then it counts some more. And as we rev it up, they're more following each other. See, at higher RPM, misfiring a little bit more. Now we'll let go, see what happens. Now we're idling. Now as we idle, you can see, check it out. The misfires have pretty much almost gone away, but now they're climbing up a little bit while we're idling. They're starting, they go flat, then they climb up a little bit at idle, but as soon as we floor it, number 6 starts misfiring like mad. So we're going to have to investigate number 6. The mass airflow sensor data is all over the place. It's idling, but it's up, it's down, 7, 4. I mean, it's all over the place. So we're going to do a trick. We're going to unplug it. It's 0 now. We've unplugged it, and we'll escape this data. We'll go back to misfire data. Check it out, it's not misfiring anymore. So here we go, we'll unscrew the old one. So out goes the old one, here goes the new. It's all screwed on. You snap it in. There it goes, locked in place. Now start her up. Close the door. Check engine light's gone. Running like a scalded ape. As you can see here, the fuel trims are going down. Before it was minus a whole bunch, now it's only -5 and -4. It's starting to get better. It might take a time to equilibrate itself. You want to get out and drive it so it sets itself all back. And we're driving down the road. No check engine light came on. Running pretty good. Give it a little acceleration here. Sounds great. Hey, wahoo! Here we go. Accelerating again. Nice even acceleration. So that shuts the door in another case. Hey, use your brain, you can figure things out. If you can't, pay somebody like me to do it. And here's some bonus questions and answers. Chris T says, I got a 2024 brand new Chevy Silverado 2500 HD. The engine power fails when towing. I tow it a couple hours, pulling 8,000 pounds, and it starts bogging down. When I go to the dealer, they said, we can't identify the issue because they can't recreate the failure. I even talked to their engineers. I own a construction company. I paid 65 grand for this truck. Help. Okay, well, I would have told you don't buy that truck in the first place, but you bought it. Now, this shows how they don't give a crap about you as a customer. They already got your money. They were honest, or it's not doing it now. Give them the truck. Say, here's my trailer. Put 8,000 pounds on it. Drive it around till it dies. But they won't do that. That shows that they don't care about their customers. They don't go the extra mile. Don't watch these Chevrolet ads telling you how great they are because it's a bunch of baloney made by an advertising company being paid by General Motors to lie about their products, right? When you actually buy something like this, it doesn't work right. You're not making it up. Why the heck would you make it up? And they won't go through the trouble to drive in a couple hours to have it act up. Because, well, their mechanics are busy making money. We can't have them just driving your cars around. That's part of the deal. You sold them a car. You said it works right. It doesn't work right. It's an HD for towing, right? But they don't care. That's just typical with these companies. Now, maybe after they see this video you go in, they'll actually drive it around for a couple hours, figure out what's going wrong with it, if they have any mechanics that are good enough to figure it out. Because, I mean, hey, who knows these days? They pay the mechanics less and less, and they get lower and lower quality mechanics. I know a guy who worked there as a transmission mechanic, and his pay got so low that he quit, and he ended up driving a truck that puts chemicals on your lawn to make your lawns green. He said, I make more money doing this than I did fixing the transmissions. I don't have to deal with all those buttholes at the dealership. So they just don't care. Hopefully they'll see this video. Maybe they'll actually do it and fix it. But, they're big companies. They really don't care. They spend more money on advertising than they do on quality control. Well, if you know anything about cars, the most expensive things to fix are engines and transmissions, right? So, here's 6 cars that have notoriously bad transmissions, and you certainly would be very leery about purchasing one. Now, the first one is a Ford Focus with those crazy dual clutch transmission, and that was the Ford Focuses from 2012 to 2016. Ford had to buy some back or fix them, and they really did a nasty deal on that. I've got many customers with them that went in. Ford refused to do anything about it. They're stonewalling people, even though they signed one of these agreements that they're going to fix them, so those agreements aren't worth the paper they're written on. My advice is just don't buy one of the things in the first place. Number 2 is a Nissan Nissan Altima with those horrible Jatco CVT transmissions. And there's the Altimas from 2002 to 2017. Those are the worst ones, so definitely stay away from those. Another one is a Ford Mustang, and this is an odd one because it's not an automatic transmission. The 2011 to 2020 had 6-speed standard transmissions, and they're notorious for blowing up. A bunch of these 6-speed manuals were made in China. It's part of the problem, right? But normally people think, oh, I'll buy a manual transmission, they never break. Well, normally they don't, but in those Mustangs, they sure did. Stay away from those 6-speed manual Mustangs. Now, another one is a BMW M5 E60. Those have V10 engines, a lot of horsepower. Now, before you buy a used one, the trannies on those, all that horsepower, they had a lot of problems too. And the last one is the Nissan Rogue. What a surprise. Another crappy CVT Jatco transmission. And these are the 2012 to 2018 Nissan Rogues. I've seen so many of those trannies break out. Don't think about buying a used one. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.